Welcome to the Frequency Advantage podcast, the future of wellness. We're here to make sense of the science and simplicity behind energy, frequency, and vibration in a way that actually fits into everyday life. Because now is the time to understand how frequencies can help you feel better, live clearer, and create real change from the inside out. Let's dive in.
Hello there, welcome to the Frequency Advantage podcast. I'm Marcus Bird with my beautiful host, co-star, or whatever, Sally. Hey Sally, welcome. Good to have you here.
Yes, I'm the sidekick. Episode 5.
Episode 5. Where did that time go? And today we've got something very exciting. We've got the amazing Janelle here with us, who's going to share some of her experience around frequency. And I think today, Sally, this is where we sort of get the rubber to hit the road a bit. You know, we've talked about the theory, we've talked a bit about the history, we've sort of done that. But today I want to dive into, you know, the real practicality of frequency and how it works in our lives, but how it works for other people as well. How does that sound, Sal?
Oh, this is the exciting part. This is my jam. I love this.
That's great. So let's formally introduce the amazing Janelle, who's a health and healing mentor, has an amazing practice and wellness business in the northern part of Australia. I'll let Janelle introduce all of that in a minute. And, you know, I think what I've loved watching you, Janelle, is just how you look at things from a very multidimensional point of view, and, you know, your wellness you know, therapies and practices are very holistic, as in, you know, really looking at all of the dimensions that we have, you know, from a human point of view and helping people to maybe integrate and align that. Would you say that's sort of your focus?
Hey guys, yes, absolutely. So I'm not just a one therapist type scenario. I do have many facets to what I do, and it comes down to a lot of things with nutrition, with healing, with the spiritual world, with your mindset, with your emotions. Like everything is such a multi-dimensional approach, and I feel like our bodies not just one sort of way, one dimension. So we really need to make sure that we're looking at all of these when we're working with people's health, and when we're trying to help them heal those parts of them that seem to be dysregulated, out of alignment, or destabilized. We need to make sure that we're working with all parts of us to get that back into check and to balance that out again. Beautiful. So I do work with many different ways. Yes. Beautiful.
And obviously something sort of attracted you into this frequency space. You know, you've been doing this work for a while now, and how long have you actually been in practice? How long have you been sort of helping? And
it's nearly 3 years now. So it'll be 3 years in February coming up. So we're in December of 2025, and in February 2026, 3 years. So it has been a beautiful thing for me myself, and that's because of my own health issue. That's what drew me to frequency work in the first place.
Fantastic. So maybe tell us a little bit about that sort of history that got you sort of, you know, into this space and interested in frequencies. And I think, Sal, love to hear Janelle's story, the journey a little bit, right?
Absolutely. It's very relatable to how she ended up with frequencies, you know, searching and then, but over to you, Janelle, let's share.
Yeah. Tell us a bit about your journey.
No worries. So it was back in 2021. I actually ended up with Bell's palsy, which is, if you don't know what Bell's palsy is, it's like paralysis of the face. And I had nerve damage. I had my eye wouldn't close. My whole mouth was drooping. My face was drooping. You may notice that I have my face is a bit crooked. When you look at me straight on, you can actually tell. And that's where nerve damage happened. And so this was from a burnout that happened in my life. So I went into like full burnout mode. I couldn't get off the floor. And I was just thinking to myself, there's got to be something else out there other than the medical world, because they weren't really helping me other than wanting to pump drugs into me to get rid of whatever virus or thing that I had going on that was causing the Bell's palsy. And for me, I didn't feel like it was a virus or a thing. I felt like it was more of like a multidimensional burnout of, you know, me not listening to my spiritual side, me not listening to my mental side. Physically, I was pushing myself too hard, all the things, right? So I then literally was put on my bum on the floor, couldn't move. And I said, there's got to be some way I can start healing myself from my home that is a holistic alternative approach. And what started coming to me was frequency work, because you can play it. I had friends that would do frequencies with their phone. They were sending me frequencies that I could listen to. And I was like, there's something in this. I don't really know what this is, but it feels like my body is responding to this. And then I came across a bed that I can lay on, which I absolutely love. So it's a vibro bed that I lay on, and it vibrates. The bed itself vibrates under your back, and you have the headphones playing the frequencies and the sounds and the tones and all the things. And that was the start of me going, oh my God, I need to help other people with this, not just for myself, but I want to make a business out of this, because it has helped me so much to regulate myself, stabilize myself, and get myself back on track and up off the floor. And so that's what excited me. But then I felt really stuck in the fact that I could only help a certain amount of people, because I live on the Sunshine Coast. I can only have people come to my house to use the bed for a certain amount of time. I didn't want to be in burnout mode again, so I didn't want back-to-back clients all the time. Yeah. So I had to find another way where I could use frequencies in a very interesting and profound way that they could do from their home, like I was doing when my friends were sending me things on my phone. But I wanted something that aligned with me, because what they were doing was not necessarily aligned in a way of a business, you know. So then I started looking, and here we are.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I love that. Yeah. I think it's, not this, uncommon story that we have these health issues, or whether they're physical, mental, emotional, whatever, spiritual, and we go on a search for something that can help and support us, and it's kind of interesting, where we end up. And I think Sally and I have both probably experienced that. And that got us here as well. So that's kind of cool. So, yeah, just on that journey, what was it that sort of, what insight stood out to you, or what have you learned about frequency that sort of got you to go, oh my, obviously you had the physical experience of getting better, but what other sort of insights really stood out for you along that journey?
Well, I feel like I was getting better with the bed and with the frequency work. I was getting better, but I still knew there was something sitting there. And I felt like I'd gotten better, but to a certain point. And then I was like stagnated, or I was plateaued. And I was like, okay, there's more to this. There's something else going on. And then I started showing symptoms of fatigue in other ways. And I'd started getting cold sores. I would get like shingles on my face. I would get nerve pain. This would be after eating certain foods. This would be after feeling run down. And so me diving deeper into that went, there's something else still here, and this is where I came in for you guys, I came in as a case study with the beautiful Sally. And she really helped me, because we realized that I had the Epstein-Barr virus in my body, which was running riot at that time. And that was probably a part of, what happened to me in 2021. It could have been, but it was showing itself again. It was alive again. So I was like, right, I really need to now look at what's going on here and how I can work with this, because I just knew instinctively and intuitively, I just knew that frequency work and quantum harmonics would help. I just didn't know how.
I think this is a really good example of how the frequencies reveal to heal. So you present with certain things, physical ailments, but as we went through the 3 months together, we were peeling back the layers, and then we went down to something aligned here. And that's when you first came in saying, I've worked on this and I've worked on that, but I know there's more to this. And so we started, being detective within your body, using the frequencies to see what was lying underneath. So we kept peeling back and peeling back. We came down to Epstein-Barr virus, and some of the changes that you experienced during that, like just your normal cravings had changed. You want to share some of those?
Yeah. So I think I won't go into what Epstein-Barr is and all of the, the facets of that. But one thing I've really found is when your body knows how to come back to homeostasis, which is a balanced, regulated state, when your body can come back to that and stabilize itself, it starts to want to get rid of the things that are not really meant for it. You start to just be aligned more with a more pure state of life, or a more natural way of living. And so I had things like, I just didn't want sugar, I didn't want coffee. Like my body, I guess you get to a frequency state, a higher frequency state, or more so a stronger frequency baseline that your body wants to operate from. And when you get to that stronger baseline, the things that are not aligned with you, they have to fall away. They have to go away. And like coffee, I drank coffee for like 20 something years. And so then I was like, why is this all of a sudden, that's a big change for me to just snap and just go, nope, I don't need this anymore. And it was like cold turkey, cut it off. And it just shows that when you're in alignment with where you're at now, or when you stabilize the body and you can get it to a stronger baseline, that set point that, that your body operates from, stuff just can't live there that is no longer for it.
And this is the baseline resonant frequency field that we were talking about last week, Marcus. So saying when you're on that baseline, when you're in alignment, you feel good, and you're not wanting these other cravings and things. I mean, when Janelle experienced this, she was like, holy moly, I haven't not craved coffee every single day for, like, as you said, 20 plus years. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Like weird.
That's a long time.
And I've had and sugar, I get this all the time. I'm not craving the sugar anymore because I'm more stable in my baseline resonant field. So
I love those knock-on effects, those extra sort of effects that, maybe you don't necessarily come for that particular thing, but because you're, harmonizing everything sort of shifts and changes, and those things that are not in resonance with who you are naturally just sort of reduce or drop off, right? So if coffee isn't in your natural resonance, which I'm not sure it is for anyone, but more so for some than others, I'm sure, like I can't have coffee at all. I tried when I was younger. That was a big mistake, whereas, my wife or others can have one, or, one every now and then or whatever, and it seems to be okay. So I think when you come back into a more resonant alignment, like you said, Sally, that these things just have to drop away. They just naturally have that effect.
I see it so much with addictions, what people usually are craving, alcohol, sugar, coffee, that just reduces to the point that they don't even think about it anymore. But it's just that their body's not, so there's not needing that hit because they're feeling stable and able.
Stable and able. I love that. And so I just love how it's positively helped you, and I really love that you became a case study for some of the stuff we were doing, and then went on to study it. And what were some more of the sort of those insights you received once you started studying it at a deeper level? What were some of the realizations you had that I think would help our listeners to sort of understand it a bit more? What were some of the the overarching things you really started to realize, like what we just spoke about, that, when you come back into a resonance harmonic pattern, things that are no longer in resonance sort of just automatically have to drop away. And then it's not a fight to try and do it. Because I think, so often, like we were saying, Sally, with addictions, I see people fighting to reduce them or get rid of them, or, it's just this battle that ensues, and generally they lose a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And whether they lose because they go back to the addiction, or whether they lose because they don't feel as happy, or because it was filling a void somewhere and then they haven't necessarily filled the void up. So I'd love to know some of your deeper thoughts now that you know what you know around frequency.
I think it comes down to the fact that I now believe in a world I can't see, but I know works. So I've got a very monkey mind. I'm very analytical, and that has come from, I guess, past things that have obviously happened in my life where I feel like I need to be in control of everything and know everything to a T and blah, blah, blah. And so then when I come into something like this and I'm like, I can't see what it's doing, but I trust what it's doing because of what it's done for me. It's almost like you have to feel it and experience it to believe it, because you can't see it. It's not something that you see, it's something that you feel and something that you resonate with. And you start feeling that in parts of your body when you really go through this. You start to, if you listen to a frequency long enough for like 20 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever it may be, and you just sit with that frequency long enough, you start to know, oh, I actually feel something in my heart, or, you know, down in my lower chakras, I can feel there's a change in me, or hang on a minute, my head doesn't feel so dense right now. It feels like it's lifted something, you know? And so
even at a physical level, you feel it, right? Not just an esoteric but actually physically you feel it.
Yes.
Yep.
And that's what made me go, okay, I can't see it, but I feel it. So my monkey mind goes, oh yeah, it must be real, because even though I can't see it, I can feel it. And I am a feeler. I can sense things, you know? So that really made me start to believe even more in it. I think the more belief you have, the easier it works too.
Yeah, absolutely. Consciousness is a big part of the healing process, I think, you know, whether you're applying frequency or any other, you know, methodology. I think it helps for sure.
Yeah, I have a mantra I love to use: trust, believe, and allow. So just trust in the process and just believe that anything is possible, and sit back and allow the magic to happen. And I think that sort of is how the frequencies work. I mean, we've explained how it's bridging the science with the spirit using the frequencies, and we've done the science part in the previous podcast, but now we're starting to like talk to you and see, you know, the changes that you've experienced. And what about with your clients that you've been using? Do you want to share any sort of changes that people have experienced using the frequencies?
It's been different for every client, and because they have different ailments or conditions, right? They have different health concerns. So one of my clients, she was riddled with anxiety. She was always every day questioning what she was doing, thinking that no one liked her, very, very anxious mind of what if I did it wrong? Like, what have I done here? You know? And when she came to me, I said, we need to start on the anxiety, but we also need to start on self-love. So I was playing her two different frequencies, one in the morning and one in the evening. And this worked as I guess like a crossover, beautiful effect of downgrading one and upgrading the other. And so she said to me after about 3 or 4 days, she's like, what have you done to me? I was like, what do you mean? What do you mean? What have I done to you? Like I was thinking the worst, right? I was like, oh God.
Yeah.
But then she's like, no, I just don't. I feel really good, and I'm seeing the world from a higher perspective, like a different perspective on life, and I'm not thinking that everything is against me. And this was in like a week, you know, under a week. So for someone like that who had such denseness in her body and riddled with such anxiety, to have such a quick change just made me smile so much, and just made me even reiterate that, yes, I'm in the right place right now with all of what I'm doing, because the changes were so quick. And this may not be the case for everyone. Like with my virus that I was working with, Sal, it was about 3 months of different changes happening over a 3-month period. And that was with me doing different frequencies morning and night as well. So it's different for everyone, and depends how much stagnation or destabilization you have in your body, what's going on with your mindset, your health, food you eat, because food is frequency as well. And I work a lot with that because I am in functional nutrition. So I work with that too. So, and then going away from that, another client of mine, she is very spiritual. And I had to work with her very, very slowly with these frequencies, because she's so sensitive to them. And the sensitivity was like, as soon as we started playing them, she could actually see and feel frequencies when she was looking outside at the trees, when she was walking down the road for a 30-minute walk in the morning. She could actually feel and sense the frequencies of the trees, the plants, the birds. Everything was like really coming on for her. And so her sensitivities of consciousness were becoming so much stronger. She already was strong, but they were even like amplified even more. It was really cool and this is why she's now joined the course, because she's like, right, I need to get onto this myself.
I love that.
Yeah,
it's fantastic.
I think that's another point, is that the frequencies shift you, but they can shift either way, up or down, so to speak. It's just it's taking you out of your spot where you're at now and shifting you in some way. And I think that's what one of our big takeaways is less is more because of people's sensitivities, particularly going through this ascension. People are a lot more sensitive to things. So working with frequencies, we've discussed the purity and the power of them and having respect for that, because it helps shift. And you just don't want to overload because you don't want to go in the other way.
Yeah. I think I love how today we've heard about your very physical experience of it. Having Bell's palsy is quite a physical thing. It's not, I mean, we can relate emotional and spiritual and all sorts of stuff to it, but it's a physiological thing that played out, and one that's very obvious, to people looking at you, or, or you looking at yourself in the mirror. And it's been great to hear how frequency shifted that and supported that, and then took it deeper, right, to other physiological things that you had going on, like virus and that sort of stuff. But I also love how you shared the emotional aspect, which is, you were able to upregulate and downregulate that client's emotions so that they came back into a more joyful alignment, a more, less anxious, but more sort of whole alignment. And then obviously the last one you shared around the spirituality aspect. So I kind of love how we've been able to see all of those sort of three aspects sort of come to life today. Not just that this is woo-woo and only works in the spiritual realms, and not that it's just for emotional things, but actually very practical, physical effects that frequency has on people. So that's brilliant. I love that. Thank you for sharing those things and allowing that to open up, because I think that's important for those that are listening, because, maybe you're here because you've got something physical going on, or you're here because there's something emotional happening, or maybe you're here because you're on the ascension pathway and spiritually it's, you're having whatever, things play out right now. The idea of frequencies has a really profound nature for all of that. So, I love that. So if you were going to give some parting wisdom or messages or anything you'd like to sort of tell our listeners, and we will put all your links up. So if you do want to meet or work with Janelle or get some support from her, we will put that up in the show notes, but we'll put up her link so that you can get hold of her. But anything you'd like to sort of share with our listeners as a
I think it's about, I'd love to just mention, having an open mind to a way of healing your body, or a way of healing all of you, mind, body, spirit, the whole lot, with something that you haven't necessarily been taught as a child, or is not the normal. It's an alternative, it's holistic, and just giving it a go, you will definitely see and feel a difference, even just giving it a go for 1 week. This is not something that, you'll even feel it in the first turn. The first time you play the music, you'll be like, oh my God, people always go that first time, they're like, far out, this was so good. But that's, that part of it is like, okay, it's so good, what's it do for me? And that's why I say, even just give it a week and just see what changes or shifts for you, or how you start to feel and look at life differently, because your perspective on life, the way that you see things, the way that you respond and react to life will start to shift and change. And this is part of where we need to go in the world, is to shift and change with things that are really going to support us, that we can do in our home, in the comfort of our family, with so much ease. You literally just have a phone and your headphones, and all you have to do is listen. It's not, and the best thing about that, your nervous system is regulating, because you're actually calming the heck down for a minute. You're actually giving yourself 20 minutes to just chill out. Most people don't give themselves that 20 minutes to chill out. And so it's a really good way to force yourself to chill out. And I obviously know what burnout is and not chilling out is, so I know that it works really well for that.
Totally.
So it forces me to chill out. I actually now have like an addiction to it almost, where what a great addiction to have, right? But I have an addiction to wanting to listen to this every day. It's almost like if I haven't listened to it, it's like I need my hit. Like, where's my phone? I've got to get my headphones. Like, where's my hit? I've got to...
In a very positive way, right? In a very positive way. Janelle's not saying she gets high from it or has some crazy, buzz, psychedelic buzz. She just comes back into harmony with herself and comes back into harmony. No, I'm just kidding. That's fantastic. I love it. Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I think just opening up your mind and Sally, I can't tell you how many people we get, especially some men who come in and they go, I don't believe in any of the data stuff, and then all of a sudden they have a physiological change and they're like, I don't know how this worked and I don't really care. I don't even want to know how it worked. It just worked, right, Sal?
Exactly. I just had this guy the other day and he messaged me the next day and he said, I can't believe an audio track could be so powerful it made me cry. He said,
wow.
I hang on to everything, and within playing the first 10 minutes, the tears started and didn't stop. He said, I'm just listening to a track. I couldn't believe it could impact me so deeply and bring up so much. And I said, you can run, but you can't hide when you're playing with frequencies.
Very true. Very true. That's fantastic.
And that's the best part, though, isn't it, Sal? Because you get those tears out. The tears are what release the body to help the body heal.
Exactly.
The body just talking to you and just helps you heal. So, and I love how practical frequencies are for the busy person. It's powerful for this day and age of, you can be busy, but as Janelle said, stick on your headphones, go for a walk, and listen to music. It's beautiful.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. It's fantastic. Well, Janelle, thank you so much for being our first guest and also being on the journey together. It's been beautiful and amazing to watch your journey through this. And, I'm so excited that you've come from a very physical issue right through and now you're crazy addicted. No, I'm kidding. You've got a really beautiful tool to help bring you back into harmony when you come out of, go into disharmony for whatever reasons. And, we're constantly bumped in our day-to-day life, and it's nice just to have that tool. Like I use it, like Sal uses it every day just to, bring yourself back into that harmonic state. It's really beautiful. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your time. Everybody, we'll put the links up so that you can go and have a session with Janelle. She's amazing. And get some support, some help. She is just this beautiful health and healing mentor, and will carry you on a beautiful journey to a more stable, harmonic life. And I really love that. Sally, do you want to say any last words before we finish up?
No, I'm just so grateful for Janelle because she's just a straight shooter, says it how it is. And, she was so caught up in the monkey mind, but just feeling and sensing these changes really just it made more sense. So you're a perfect example to share with the audience about how you went down that journey of just having a little bit of trust and openness, and looking at you.
Yeah.
That's all it takes. The trust and just being open to what you don't know is there. Just that trust.
Beautiful. I love it. Well, thank you so much. And if you have enjoyed this episode, please share it with your friends, family, colleagues, and don't forget to subscribe. Hit that subscribe button and like button or whatever buttons are around. We'd love you to continue to enjoy these beautiful episodes as we carry on the journey of frequency, and we're going to go into deeper aspects of frequency. We've got some other amazing guests coming up, and we're going to share some frequencies with you over the next few episodes. So we're really looking forward to that. So you can actually have a real life experience of this. So we're looking forward to sharing that with you. Sally, as always, thank you so much for being a beautiful, amazing co-host, co-star, whatever you want to call it. Just beautiful human being. Once again, Janelle, thank you for being here, and we will see you all on the next episode soon. See ya.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Bye.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us on the Frequency Advantage, the future of wellness. Keep exploring, keep learning, and most of all, keep raising your vibration. See you next time.